Journalists at the conference Joy News spoke with, however, do not share the president's optimism. Wilberforce Asare of Asase Radio and Yache of Ghanaian Times, both presidential correspondents, tell Joy News' Elton Brobe the fear of journalists being attacked in the course of their work is real. They are also unconvinced by government efforts to bring to justice perpetrators of crimes against journalists.
The issue about press freedom and perceived attack on the work of journalists appears to be one of the most topical issues in the country. Now, a while ago, President Akufo-Addo spoke about it and spoke about the fact that he is unapologetic about the repeal of the criminal libel law. But he also said that the work of journalists must stand for criticism, and that will not in any way amount to, censorship or an attack on the media. Let me speak to some media practitioners here about what they make of this and whether or not journalistic practice in the country is under attack. Wilberforce Asare is head of the political desk at Asase Radio. I'll also be speaking to my colleague here from the New Times Corporation about what they make of this particular issue. Wilberforce, you are a journalist. Is media practice in the country under attack?
So, Elton, by the very nature of our work as journalists, where our work sees us talking about what other people are doing, by extension, if you say something good about someone, that person is likely to like you. And when you say something bad about the other person, that person is likely to be against you. So by the very nature of our work as journalists, we attract both negative and positive energy. And so I think that attracting the two forms of energy comes with the work. However, it becomes a problem when it leads to journalists being physically attacked by people who may not be happy about something that they said about them. We have seen quite a few of them around in our country where journalists have been physically attacked because of things that they said, which we condemn. But if journalists are being put on the spot for something that they may have said about somebody, by virtue of attracting negative energy, I don't see anything wrong with it, because we must come to terms with the fact that that's the nature of our work. You will say something bad about someone, that person reserves a right to rebut. That person has a right to say that I disagree with what you said. That doesn't mean that the journalist is under attack. So that's the difference that I see. Our work definitely attracts positive and negative energy. When it's positive, you'll be praised. And we have seen journalists being praised and they are happy in the country. So when it is negative, you'll be attacked. But when you are attacked, it doesn't mean that you are under attack properly, so-called. It is when it translates into physical abuse, killing, like some journalists have been shot and all that, then it becomes a problem. So that's my thoughts on this issue about journalists under attack.
Let me go to my colleague here from the New Times Corporation, Yache. Yeah, there are those who are of the view that journalists take on everybody and they take on anything in the country. But when the work of a journalist is subjected to some kind of criticism, then the cliche that the work of journalists is being attacked comes to play. Is that what you also feel?
Well, I think I agree with what Wilberforce said, with the fact that we are free to disagree with each other. When a journalist says something and someone rebuts what the person has said, I don't think that necessarily constitutes an attack, because we live in a society where we are free to express ourselves, we are free to agree or disagree, but it becomes a problem when it turns physical. You understand? And we've recorded a number of such physical attacks on. I know so many reporters who have been attacked, and the sad thing is a lot of such attacks go unpunished, and that is, for me, that is my major concern. But we are free to disagree with each other. That is an acceptable practice in every established democracy.
My final question will be, and this goes for the two of you, as a journalist and as a practitioner, do you feel worried, or do you have a sense of fear once you go about your normal duties on a daily basis?
Personally, I wouldn't say fear, because I'm not scared, because we live in a democratic society. But my concern is the attacks on reporters. We shouldn't be seeing them in this day and era, because they are getting too many. Over the past 10 years, reporters have been killed, reporters are attacked by political supporters of political parties, security agencies, private individuals at the courts and all that. We hear them, and I think it's disturbing. And I think the people who perpetrate these attacks must be punished. There should be stiff punishment on the people who perpetrate these attacks. You understand? In order, at least, to protect journalists.
And then, Wilberforce, finally, whilst doing your work, does fear come in terms of this story I'm covering? There may be repercussions. When you step out of your house and go to work, because of the fact that you're a journalist, do you live in fear because of the kind of job you do?
So I think that I would not use the word fear, but I think I'm very careful and mindful. And the reason why I'm that careful and mindful is because I have come to terms with the fact that the work I do would attract attention. And so to the extent that my work attracts attention means that every time I'm moving around, I must be careful about what is happening behind me and beside me. I find myself driving a car that is branded from my office. And that also means that naturally everywhere I'm going, I am already identified as a journalist or as working in the media house. And so that actually even makes me a bit more careful about where I go, the kind of person following me at all material times, who is beside me and all that. I'm very mindful and careful about those things. But I don't think that I am afraid of practicing my work, because I strive to remain professional at all material times when I'm doing my work. And so I don't have an iota of fear, but I am extremely, extremely careful and mindful of my surroundings, my movements and all that. And